Welcome to another Lantern Lyceum. Glad you're here. We do these once per month. And I invite you to have conversation and such as we make our way through. If you're here live, I'm in the chat as well. And there's a chance I'll bring some stuff up that you share with us here during the live stream. So each month we kind of go through kind of one specific area, realm. And this time around we're going through something called the rules you keep. So let's get underway. Have your coffee or your drink or what have you. Let's get started. So last month when we did our Lantern Lyceum, we talked about the view from here, like how distance changes what you're able to see, and how come things only come into focus once you've stepped back far enough to look at them properly. So perspective. But in this Lyceum, we're going to talk about what you do with one of those sightings. Because when you step back and look at your days honestly, one of the first things you'll notice is that you're living inside a set of rules. And almost none of them have your signature on them. And that's where we're going. So most of your rules were never chosen. They were inherited, and then they were obeyed. I actually had a great conversation with a friend about this last night, about parenting and all that stuff, and that definitely applies here. So think about where your rules actually came from, like a job that you don't work at anymore, a manager whose standards you absorbed without ever really agreeing to them, a season of your life that ended, but the rule that it demanded is still actually running. Somebody else's system that happened to arrive first and got to set the terms because nothing else was there to argue with it. Now, you didn't sit down and decide. You inherited and then you obeyed. And it's the obeying. Like it's so quiet that you stopped experiencing it as obedience at all. It just became how you work. So here's the question I want sitting with you for the next 20 minutes or so as we go through this. Which rules are you running right now? Not which ones you should follow, or not the ones that you follow, but which ones already have you. And I want to say something about the word itself because it's the whole reason that we're here today. We say rules and regulations like it's one word. Like the second half is just there for rhythm or to resolve that note or what have you. Regulations always get to be the afterthought, the fine print, the boring cousin, the thing you skim. But today, during this lyceum, the afterthought, that's the whole point. So here's the distinction. A rule is a switch. A regulation is like a thermostat. Now, stick with me here. A switch has two positions, on or off, obeyed or broken. It doesn't know anything about the room it's in. It doesn't care whether it's January or July, whether you slept, whether the day went the way you planned. It has one job and one failure mode. That's it. A thermostat is doing something completely different. It's reading conditions. It's adjusting continuously. And it holds the temperature without you standing there like white knuckling the switch. That's the difference between a rule and a regulation. A rule is fixed. It holds or it breaks. A regulation is responsive. It adjusts, and because it adjusts, it holds. And I want to be careful here because this is where people hear flexible and think I'm giving them permission to let everything go, and I'm not. A thermostat isn't the absence of a standard. A thermostat is a standard with a mechanism. It's more demanding than a switch, not less. It's paying attention all the time. It's just not brittle. Now, there's a line I keep circling back to. It's not about time management at all. It's about reason. Without prudence, reason hardens into position. But with prudence, reason moves. And that's what happens to a rule. A rule is reason that hardened into a position, like it made sense once, and in conditions that no longer exist, and then it stopped moving. A regulation is reason that kept moving. Same thinking, one of them stayed alive. Now here's the failure. The failure mode that nobody warns you about. A broken rule ends the streak. A regulation bends the day. Now, you know how this goes. The rule is like write at 9. And for 11 days, you write at 9. And then day 12, something happens. A call runs long. Your kid needs something. You just don't. And it's 9:40. And what happens next has nothing to do with writing. The rule is broken, so the streak is dead, so the practice is dead. Not because you can't write at 9:40. You can. You write perfectly fine at 9:40. But the rule didn't have a setting for 9:40. It only had obeyed and broken. And once you're on the broken side of a switch, there's really nowhere else to go. Now, run the same day through a regulation. The regulation is I write before I open email. It doesn't specify 9. It specifies an order. So a late morning doesn't break it. A late morning just moves it. 9:40 is fine. 2 in the afternoon is fine. The regulation bent and the day survived, and so did the practice. And I want to name the uncomfortable part of this because it's the part that stings. Rigidity feels like discipline, but it's usually just fragility. So rigidity feels like discipline. It's usually just fragility. The 9 o'clock rule felt more serious. It felt like the more committed version. It had a number in it, and numbers feel like rigor. But it collapsed the first time reality showed up. That's not discipline. That's a structure with no tolerance built into it. And this is also why I keep pulling apart consistency and cadence. And it's the same distinction wearing different clothes. Like, consistency is about showing up. It's the reliable beat of habit, the checkbox ticked, the calendar filled. And it's valuable, but it's mechanical. It's what a machine does. But cadence breathes. It pauses. It accelerates and decelerates. It's not just when you show up, but how, and more to the point, why? Rules ask for consistency. Regulations allow for cadence. And a structure that flexes is a structure that lasts. So regulate. Don't rule. Now, of course, we do have a resource, as we do for every month with the Lyceum, and this one is the regulation book. So if you actually do this, and you can find the link in the description as well, and not just agree with it. Like, if you actually want to do this, this companion will work, the regulation book. It's 6 ways to turn the rules that run you into regulations that serve you. So you can see here that we're kind of teasing it. The PDF, it contains all 6 moves. It's free, and it allows you it gives you room to work through your own kind of moves. The link is in the description, so check it out. And if you go to mikevardy.com/Lyceum, you'll find it there as well. So before we close, I want to give you the smallest possible version of the work. Pick one, not all of them. One rule you're currently keeping that you never actually close. And I want you to ask it 2 questions. Who set this? And what conditions was it built for? If the answer to the second question is conditions that no longer exist, you're not being disciplined by keeping it. You're just being loyal to a room you've already left. That's the work. Turn the switch into a thermostat. One rule at a time. Now, next month during the Lyceum, we're at the second stop on the walk. Resonance. That session is called What Rings True. I'll be posting it. You'll be able to subscribe and get notifications and all that stuff when it goes live. Because once you've sorted out which regulations you're keeping, there's like a harder question waiting underneath it. A regulation that's only familiar is noise. So it'll be happening the second week in September on a Wednesday, like we do every time. Until next time, thanks so much for taking the time to be here. Remember, stop doing productive and start being productive. See you later.